Good morning, beautiful people. It is Kai Wynn back for another live trading recap. So, today I did take a trade. The exact profits were 50%, which is very decent for a day trade. And that was 50%, which equaled out to $500 in 12 minutes. I entered at 9:33. I'm going to pull up um, the 5 minute. I guess that would be best. I don't trade the 5 minute, but I'm gonna pull it up so you can see exactly my entry deeper. Because if I use a higher time frame, you won't be able to actually see. So 9:33 is somewhere at the beginning of this large green candle, and then I exit at 9:45, which is uh on exactly where it starts to kind of twitch out on me and give me an indecision. Now, if I would have looked down on the 5 minute time frame, when I see those indecisions mean continuations for the most part. They don't signal reversals when they're like this. So they, I mean, and that's just subjective, obviously, but um, that's also why I don't use the lower time frames, because individual candles are very subjective and they don't tell you the overall story. But in general, these indecision candles mean whatever's happening prior is going to keep happening after. Okay, that's just the truth of the matter. But the trade was only 12 minutes, and the reason why I entered this trade, and if you're watching this later, you can definitely go back and check the charts and see if this 5 minute played out to hold that level. But the reason I decided to enter this trade is simply because I made a decision yesterday that I'm only going to be trading gaps. This was a very hard hit to my ego, I believe, because my ego says you have to do all type of trades. You have to do something complicated. You have to do something impressive. But it doesn't matter what you do to trade. It matters the profits you make. And today was a prime example of that. Now, today is quad witching. If you don't know what quad witching is, it means that the third Friday of every single month, all contracts expire. Okay, so that increases the trading volume. It increases open interest. It increases volume volatility. If I didn't already say that, it increases trades overall. Buyers and sellers enter the market viciously on quad witching. This day is also called OPEX, OPEX, which means open expiration. So that means that everything is expiring on Friday. Okay, and today is the third Friday of the month. It happens every single month. So if you're a trader, you want to put that in your calendar and say, hey, when um the third Friday of the month comes, I don't want to forget what today is, because you might go in thinking it's a regular Friday and boom, you're on the opposite side of some very strong volatility. So um yeah, so and I said OPEX means open exchange. I meant to say options. I'm sorry. But yeah, so it's basically when all the options contracts expire, and then the reason why there's a lot of volatility is because traders have to exercise, close, or let them expire. Like they have to let their contracts expire. So you have to do something which increases that volatility with buyers and sellers coming into the market to exercise, close or open new trades, etc., etc. Cool. So now that we've gone over that, I made my ego killing decision to only trade gaps. Now, this also gave me the ability to trade the reversal of gaps. Why? Because if it doesn't fill the gap, it ain't going no other direction but the opposite direction. So for today, there was a gap in pre-market, and unfortunately, it was basically already closed by the time that I arrived. because because I trade options, I have to wait till 9:30 a.m. And so the gap that I'm referring to is, let me actually just remove some of this. You know what? Let me make it easy for my viewers. I'm going to erase all of the things on my chart. All right. I really want to remove these alerts too, but I think I could do those one by one. I'm just gonna leave them for now, but let's just look at it, right? So the gap that I'm talking about is a change in price. A gap is a drastic change in price. And you know what? Maybe God is telling me only trade gaps, just trade gaps, give up everything else because gaps are so easy and you're going to make money anyways. And I'm like, no, I want to do the hard thing. I want to be the best, craziest trader in the world. He's like, okay, anyways, like this is the strategy that you can give to all beginners on your channel. And it's easy to understand and it literally makes money every single time if you don't catch the reversal of it. But yeah, like they're I don't know. I'm still shaken with the fact I have to kill my ego in that way. But let's go over this trade a little deeper. So on the macro bias, I'm looking at this gap, right? This was last night, uh, December 18th, and here's this morning, December 19th. You can see the dates here at the bottom, that black box that's popping up. So December 18th, December 19th. Okay, you see that market closes at 8 p.m. And then because this is on the 1 hour time frame, it's not going to show that last candle because it's like on the closing and switching of the post market to pre market. So it shows the next candle, which is the 4 a.m. candle. And it's actually a very strong hammer. This signals some uptrend. And so what we did is we came back and we filled this gap here, 611, and we filled it. I'm looking at this black candle here. Let me erase these because this is just in my way at this point. Like, get out of my way. Okay, so what we're looking at, okay, oh, I'm trying to lock this so it stops giving me that box. Okay, so what I'm saying is that we have this gap, right? This gap is a change in price from post market to pre market. We see there's no candles here. There's literally no candles here. Okay, there's no candles, which means that price is going to want to come and either fill this gap or reject this gap in price. So we have two options, right? Either calls or puts. Okay, so this is still in pre-market before the market opens at 9:30 a.m. As you can see, the clock is at 9:59 right now because it is 9:59 in the morning. But here is 7 a.m. This is still in pre-market because it doesn't open until 9:30. So during pre-market, price decided to come and fill this gap, and we could expect it to also continue to fill, but we can also expect it to reject outside this gap and actually sits perfectly at this gap line. You see, rejection, rejection came up exactly to where it wants to and is sitting right on top of it, and it goes crazy. So the trades that I took were very simple. Like I don't even think I took. I think my trade was like 40 cents. Let me even grab it for you. So I took from 613.9 and exited at 614. Well, no, I didn't. I exited at like 615.7. So it was about $2. Oh, and it's continuing to go into outer space right now, which just means it's going up. But I hope what I'm saying is making sense. Essentially, there was a gap. Price filled it in pre-market, which means it's partially invalid because once a candle goes through it, it's now invalid. So it's partially invalid, and then we decided to trade out of it. Now, once it passes this here, all previous day price action, okay, I'm in for calls for sure. And so that's a very important line that I care about. Are we going to break the previous high of yesterday in for pre-market? And that signals a confirmation that it's probably going to go up. We see our volume bars also confirm that and show a lot of green buying energy. I'm going to try to go back and put my original lines on here so you can see my entries and my exits. If it actually lets me. Yes. Okay. So I still want to use this, but this is where I entered. And the numbers I gave before may or may not be like off of this, but off of what I said. But because I trade gaps, I keep all my gaps marked. Okay, so keep that in mind. So this is the initial gap that we just were talking about that decided to get invalidated. But we also had a gap here, and we also had another gap here. So because because of this gap here, I'm gonna change the color because this gap, that's purple, was before price removed itself from where I wanted. I wanted price to remove itself from this line here. I don't want to take anything under here, but that actually was the entry to another gap. So I'm like, I don't really want to enter right now, even though technically it passes my confirmation to get in for calls. I don't want to get in yet. So I wait for it to get up here. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to take from 614 to the end of the gap, which is $1, which is perfect. $1 or $2 for price movement is going to get you 20, 30%. If you get stopped out, 10%, 20, 15%, but it's still going to be a really great trade, right? And one thing I love about gaps is that they naturally have a lot of volatility, and volatility is what makes you money in trading, because volatility means a stock is moving. Well, if it's moving a lot and you're in the right direction, then that means that you're gonna make a lot, and you can easily get a 50% return, like I did in 12 minutes. So, and that could have easily been 100% if I would have stayed in, but I exited. I don't even want to guess where I exited. I'm gonna go look and see where I exited. I exited at 9:45. Oh, I did tell you already. That 9:45 was that indecision candle that popped up. And that was this, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So this indecision candle. So I exited at the top here, which is 6:16:37. So I exited here 6:16:37. So basically 6:16:4. So I exited here. So here these lines are where I entered. So I entered 1 at 6:14:1. I added 7 at 6:14:3. Added 2 singles at 6:14:4. And then I held them from 6:14:1, 6:14:2, 6:14:4, and closed them all at 6:16:4, which is $2. Okay, so today was a really great day, and it was really good on the price movement today. And again, it's quad witching, so this is a very volatile day. I mean, it's worse than FOMC in my opinion. Like, quad witching has a lot of volatility. At least the at least FOMC has like news, or you can watch it and you can participate. But quad witching is just its own beast. So that's the confirmations that I waited for. Was it going to fill this gap or not? And that's why I keep other gaps on my chart, so that if price decides to go somewhere else, I know that I can play off of a different gap, because although gaps invalidate, they're always a really good confirmation of where price wants to be, doesn't want to be, or liquidity zones. So personally, my price target was just to take a $2 move, And my account was at $1,000, so my risk was $100 per contract, and I sized up when needed. When it confirmed, I was fully in profit, letting my account work for me in this aspect. And then I closed half, so I closed five, and I closed another five. All five were closed 616, and then I closed five maybe like a few cents below. Like they were almost directly after each other. The first close was at like they were literally like 30 seconds apart, so they're very close closes. Um, but yeah, that's where I entered. That's where I took my profit. And the one thing I would change is my mindset around being a gap trader because like it's so basic, and I feel like dang, like this thing makes money, but it's not as complicated, it's not as fun, it's not as crazy, it's not as whatever. And that's just not a good mindset to have, because why would you want to do the more complicated thing? um so I did everything right based on my rules, whatever. But mentally I would love to, think of it differently, because I don't want to be making stuff harder for myself when it doesn't need to be harder. So yeah, I just really don't want to make it harder on myself. But anyways, I'm Kaiwen. We meet here every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. I know it's Friday. I did this video specifically because it's quad witching, and it's important to make this video. And I'm not going to get the chance to make a quad witching video for another 3 weeks, so I decided to give you guys a bonus today. Um, but yeah, we do pre-live markups 7 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Then there is a post market or live trading session at Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. And you can bring any questions. And I'll see you tomorrow. Go make your money, because I'm going to go make mine. Taiwan is out. And remember that showing up every day is what makes you a winner.